Oh hi, sorry I didn't know you were there. Right. Today's video is all about learning the future perfect progressive, and explaining progressive tenses. It's the third in the Learning English Tenses series, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. You find that the whole subject is a lot easier than you first imagined. So here you go.
Ray! Thank heavens you're here! Oh, I don't know where to start.
Doc? Doc?
You've got to come back with me, Ray.
Back where?
Back. Back to the future!
And we're back from the future. I'm glad to say, yes, we're back from the year 2515. If you want to see that film, by the way, it is out now on YouTube, on your amazing Stunning Lad 1 channel. Okay? Right. But Doc and I have got another mission to accomplish here. That mission is to teach you all about these subjects. Okay, the future perfect progressive, and all about progressive tenses. Basically, these are the subjects that we haven't covered yet in the two previous English tenses videos, right? You're going to find the whole subject very, very simple indeed. And I'm delighted to say that the Doc is back with me, and he will be giving you an overview of all the tenses, right? Every single one of them at the end of the video. So basically you're getting to see all the tenses, all the English tenses in this video. In fact, Doc, I think we should actually get you in here more often because you're a great help, you know.
No. You're doing a perfectly good job yourself, Ray. After all, you are the stunning teacher.
Thank you, Doc. I like that.
Our mission now is to teach you all about the future tenses and the progressive tenses. And at the end of the video, you should have a very good knowledge of all the English tenses. That is our mission.
But, Doc, what happens if we don't succeed?
We must succeed!
Right, and we're all set for the lesson. Okay, Doc?
Oh!
Good. Right, so the future perfect. Right, just like in the previous video there, I was asking you to remember formulas, right? A formula, okay? So get your book handy, notebook, pen and paper, right? And write it down. Your future perfect formula, right, is this, okay? Will and have, okay? Plus a past participle. I know it sounds a bit strange when you're talking about a future tense and you're using a past participle, but I'll explain why it is a past participle, right? Okay, so it's will, have, and a past participle. Future perfect. So can we make a sentence using will, have, and a past participle? Well, of course we can. Tomorrow, okay, tomorrow I will have finished all my work. Okay, tomorrow I will have finished all my work. There we have it, see. Will, have, plus the past participle finished. And quite often when we're using the future perfect, this is what it's for. It's for projecting a future event. It's for projecting a time that a future event will be finished. Okay? Let's rattle off another one here. She will have painted the room by noon. She will have painted the room by noon. Almost rhymes that, doesn't it? She will have painted the room by noon. So let's say you're asking that question. When will Amy have painted this room? She will have painted the room by noon. So there we have it, you see. Projecting when a future event has been completed. And that is why we have will, have, plus the past participle. Right? Now, is it just will for the future perfect? Well, no it isn't. You can also say this as well, okay? Going, right? The word going, write this down. Right? She is going to have done it by then. Okay? Going to have done it by then. Going to have, right? Similar to will have. Going to have. Don't forget, it is going to have plus the past participle, right? Future perfect also is will have plus past participle. Please write them down so you don't forget them. I mean, it is quite simple really. I mean, we do speak like this anyway. You know, this isn't, for an English speaker, this isn't some wonderful thing that you're hearing here for the first time. I mean, you've heard people saying things like that before, haven't you? Right? I will have done it by then. Okay? But you may not know which of the tenses you're speaking in. Well, I can tell you right now, if you're saying I will have done it by then, you are speaking in the future perfect. Or we are going to have completed our work later. Or we are going to give maybe a more definite time. We're going to have completed our work by 3 p.m. Okay? You're talking in the future perfect. Okay, the future perfect progressive. It sounds like a bit of a mouthful. Now don't forget also, like I explained in the previous video there, Progressive and continuous, there's absolutely no difference between them whatsoever. They are the same thing. So therefore you could call it the future perfect continuous. That's absolutely fine. Now, as I taught you in the last video there, what you've got to remember about the term progressive or continuous really is just one simple little thing. Can you remember it? The ing factor. Yes, the ing at the end of an infinitive form of a verb. Okay? Ing. Ing. Running, dancing, walking, singing. Moving, eating. Right? Can we think about a way to describe a verb like that? Did I hear you say present participle? Very well done. Yes. Also known as a gerund. You may have heard that before. It is a gerund form of a verb. Now you can also get gerund phrases as well. We're not going to get into them in this video there because it's just going to be too much information. Right? A verb with the ing at the end of it is called a gerund. So, the future perfect progressive. And here again, your formulas. Okay, remember your formulas. With this one here, right, exactly the same as the future perfect. You need will, have, been. Okay, you've got to have will, have, been. Got to have that. Will, have, been plus a present participle. Or, as I just explained, a gerund. There it is. And let's give you some examples. I will have been working on this video for 4 days. You see, it's the ing factor, right? She will have been waiting. She will have been waiting at the airport for 2 hours when you arrive. That there has been written in a complex sentence. You can turn it around, can't you? When you arrive, she will have been waiting at the airport for 2 hours. And I'm sorry if I keep on stealing your... No, I don't think you've got that written down there in your overview. Right, okay. Okay, right. This is annoying, you know, because what I've got to... I mean, you don't realise this, but what I'm actually doing here just now is I'm actually just moving my hand around here. And there's no words actually there. There are no words there. And it'd be great if we could get some sort of gizmo or device that would actually put the words up for me. So therefore I don't have to edit it all later on and add all these things to it.
Oh, don't you have Voice Editor Pro?
Pro Voice Editor what?
Great Scott! Of course you don't have it. It's not going to be invented for another 40 years. What am I thinking about? Hey, not to worry. I can make it compatible with your computer and your camera. There! You should have it now.
Whoa. Oh, that'd be fantastic. Let's give it a go. Gary will have been studying for his degree for 3 whole years. Yeah, there it is. That's a great help, thanks. There it is. Gary will have been studying for his degree for 3 whole years. Right. So once again, to stipulate that, the future perfect progressive is will have been and your present participle, or if you want to call it a gerund, fine. Okay? Basically a verb with the ing at the end of it. Don't forget the will have been, it must have will have been in it. And the present participle to be in the future perfect progressive. Right, so with the future perfect progressive we can also say this. right? You will find, let's use the contraction here, you'll find he will have been worrying about this for some time. You'll find he will have been worrying about this for some time. Okay, that there is in the future perfect progressive. Now we can also use the be going to in the future perfect progressive as well. She is going to have been worrying about this for nothing. She is going to have been worrying about this for nothing. Or she is going to have been worrying about this for some time, just using the same sentence there. We can also use be going to there too. She is going to have been worrying about this for some time. In an hour's time, I will have been working on this for 2 days. In an hour's time, I will have been working on this for 2 days. So what do we mean by this simple future? Right, again, write it down. It's amazing actually, this word here, will, and 3 words together, okay? Be going to, right? The to be form of the verb, that could be anything. It could be I am going to be, she is going to be, we are going to be, right? It doesn't have to be going to be, it can be the other versions of the to be verb as well, alright? So, will and be going to be. This is what sends us cascading into the future. Into the future we go when we use these words. Will being a modal verb. You'll remember that from the last video. They act a bit like a, well, they act a bit like the time machine, don't they, Doc?
No. It's the flux capacitor that makes time travel possible.
Well, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. It's the flux capacitor that sends you into time. Right, okay. Sends you backwards and forwards in time. Okay, right. Let's give you some examples then of the simple future. I will complete this later. Okay, I will complete this later. I will answer the door. I will do it right now. I'll do it later. Okay, all these sentences there are in the future tense, the simple future tense. Right? Even if you're saying I'll do it now. Of course, we've used a contraction here. I'll is I will, just like you'll be late unless you hurry. Okay? You'll is you will. Right? I will complete this later. I'll complete this later. I'll do it right now. Even when you're saying I'll do it right now, it is still, it could just be I'll do it in a second's time. Don't forget that a second's time is in the future. I'll answer the phone is ringing, so you're going to be answering it in the very, very near future, as in a second from now or 2 seconds from now, but it's still in the future, okay? So will is a magical word that is talking about future events, as is be going to be as well, okay? For example, I am going to complete this on Friday. Quite often, I am going to, that one there is a more definite way of saying it, isn't it, right? I am going to be in France tomorrow. That is a statement. I am going to be in France tomorrow. There's no ifs, buts or maybes about it. I am going to be in France tomorrow. I am going to complete this on Friday. Okay? I will answer that email later. You see, that one there is, it's a bit vague. When is later? Is later next year? Is later in half an hour's time? Fred is going to be an actor in the future. It is going to be the best night ever. It will be going to the cleaners tomorrow. Okay? Giving you quite a few examples there of the simple future. Right? Now, this one here might cause a little bit of confusion there when we say be going. You think, oh wait a minute, that sounds a bit progressive for me. Yes, well indeed it is going, you know, that's the ing factor, isn't it? That is the present participle of the verb go, right? But we're not talking in the present progressive there, right? That is just another way of saying, is talking in the simple future, right? Be going to, right? Just in case that one is confusing you.
When this baby hits point 88, you're gonna see some serious stuff.
So, what is known as the future progressive, also known as the future continuous? What do we mean by that? Right, well this here is, again, write down your little formulas. Right? Will be plus a present participle, right? this is really handy, this writing coming on the wall here automatically. It's a great help. It takes me about 4 days to do this, you know, afterwards. Right. Will be plus a present participle here, okay, not past. Will be, right? They will be baking cakes between 2 and 4 p.m. I will be doing more study when I get the chance. Okay, and a few more examples coming up for you there as well. Right? Right, so that's will be plus a present participle, also known as a gerund form of a verb, okay? And that there is the future progressive, the simple future progressive, okay? It's not the future perfect. Right, okay, so that's one of the formulas. Is there another formula? Yes, there is another formula, okay? And this here is be going to be doing, right? We are going to be working on that later. It is going to be raining when we go out. Okay, so that there is basically what we mean by the future progressive, right? Again, will be plus present participle or be going to be plus present participle. So, what about the past perfect progressive? The past perfect progressive. I have been living on my own for too long and needed some company. Right? What's the formula there? Had, okay, if you're into the past, that's how we do it. I had been living, okay, I had, that's the word there. You know, that lets the reader know that you're talking about an event in the past. I had been living on my own for too long and needed some company. Right, past perfect progressive. It had not been working properly since we bought it. Okay, had been plus your present participle. Tina had been driving in the year 2000. Tina had been driving in the year 2000. Okay? Okay. Jack and Kim had been living together for 2 years when they decided to get married. Jack and Kim had been living together for 2 years when they decided to get married. So it's quite simple. It's had been plus your present participle. If that is in your sentence, then you are writing in the past perfect progressive. It will come as no surprise when we're talking in the simple progressive, right? It will come as no surprise what we mean by that. It's the ing again, isn't it? Alright, and here's some examples of the past progressive, right? David was living in South Africa when he came face to face with that lion, right, in a complex sentence. So we can turn that around. When he came face to face with that lion, David was living in South Africa. You see, it's talking about an action that's happened in the past. Right, here's another one. In the simple past progressive. They hated sharing their sweets. They hated sharing their sweets. How do we know that's in the past? Hated is a past participle. Hated, they hated sharing their sweets. Right? We could be talking about your children here. They hated sharing their sweets. And we can continue that sentence on. But they don't mind now. Right? I saw you looking at me a second ago. I saw you looking at me a second ago. Right? We're talking about something that happened a second ago. It's still in the past. I saw you looking at me a second ago. Right? Do you see where we're going with this? It's an action. An action. So there we have it. Look is looking. Looking, it was an action that took place a second ago. I saw you looking at me a second ago. I used to love watching the sunsets in South Africa. I used to love watching the sunsets in South Africa. It's talking, that sentence there is referring to an action that has taken place in the past. He was trying to steal Doc's invention.
Please excuse the crudity of these examples. I never had time to do it properly.
I know, Doc, it's not to scale. Hey, don't worry, it's great.
Oh, right. Right, here goes. Past, present, and future tenses. Past tenses are made up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tenses. Simple past, past progressive, present perfect progressive, the past perfect, and the past perfect progressive.
Well, I think he did a great job there, and there we have it. All the English tenses. Now don't forget, for full lessons on the other tenses which weren't really highlighted in this video, right, they are on my channel, and there is a playlist dedicated to all English videos.
Okay, Ray.
I want to go back to the year 2515 because it was amazing there.
You better prepare yourself for another temporal displacement. Right, everybody back home. Just to remind you, this works by jumping to point 88 miles per hour. When this baby hits point 88, you're gonna see some serious stuff. Prepare for the year 2515.
Right, Doc, I'm looking forward to this. Let's get going.
We'll have to back up.
Okay?
Right, here goes. Goodbye, everybody. See you in the next show. Well, Ray will. Ha ha.